Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another intriguing episode of Haunted Casket with
It's
me.
a little presumptuous, I think.
I think it's you're right. Yeah.
And that intro, am I supposed to be under the impression that you chained Bill to that wall?
I mean, Trevor does have serial killer vibes in that
Yeah, he
intro.
does.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Hell, I was getting Bill and everyone in the Mercs chat was like talking shit about how I looked in the selfie I took in Gatlinburg. Apparently, according to Bill, I was like Dahmer or something or whatever. I don't know what you said.
Yeah, dude, your selfies very serial killerish.
And I don't try to go for that vibe, but I'm glad I hit it just naturally. But on that note, welcome back to, I put 11. I hope that's right. Welcome back to Haunted Casket episode 11. I am Trevor from Haunted Faith and VHF 82 Productions, and we also have Bill Bryan from Empty Casket Paranormal and Talking Board Museum.
What's up?
We also have the lovely Sarah and the all right Rob from from Get Haunted. You all know them. That's why you're here. Well, actually, while they're here, they're part of why you're here. Why you're here is for the man himself, Brian Paone. But I'm not going to say anything else about him. I'm going to let him do his own introduction. So, Brian, use your amazing environment around you to talk through the mic. Because you're in what now?
DeLorean.
You got to give it more of an intro than that. Come on, dude.
All right. So here's the thing. There's a Thanksgiving party going on inside my house. I got 2 adults who are drinking, 4 kids all jacked up on sugar. I got a dog that's mine, a visiting dog, and then 2 more people on their way. So there's no way I was going to be able to do this inside my house without chaos. So I was like, you know what? I'll go to the garage and do it. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. I have a DeLorean. I'm going to sit in it.
The last time I saw you do a podcast, like you were like just like in the random part of your house beside a hallway with like a wall in the background. I'm like, this is a lot cooler than that.
Yeah.
So
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brought all of our cool factors way the hell down. I don't even understand how to compete with it. But okay.
Because Brian's here.
Yeah. Well,
thank you.
my cool factor, I'm gonna have to get out of my chair and crouch down to like show that, but it sounded funny in my head. All right, on to the comments. Onto the comments. We have the amazing side pieces according to Rob and Sarah. Danny Marie, how's it going, sister? Nice to see you in here. Got Stephen Komet, 3rd episode in a row that I've got his name right.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
4 letters.
I used to just say Mets because I thought the K was silent.
5 letters.
I would think the K would be silent too. So.
Yeah. From Digging Deeper Paranormal, Mr. Steven. How's it going, man? Denise Pack, the lovely Pack herself from the real Deado House of 1857. I believe that's the year.
1841.
1841. Okay. Thank you for that. Too many comments. I need to scroll up. This is the first time that this has happened. Hello. Ernie Pack is in the house. How's it going, Ernie?
What?
The stud himself. How's it going, man? How's it going? Damien, the Scottish side of Get Haunted. How's it going, Damien?
Part of Get Haunted International.
Yes. By the way, this is the first picture that I know of that he's made his profile picture himself, and that's the most badass fucking picture I've ever seen. So,
yep.
Like a human Ouija board in front of, I presume, a haunted castle in Scotland, because isn't most everything in Scotland haunted? But Mark Brown, how's it going, Mr. Mark Brown? How's it going? Damien, again, Damien, hello. the aristocrat.
There he is.
How's it going?
Chris.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Chris? How's it going? We also have Amy Hunter.
Oh, she's the book cover designer.
Nice. New to the chat, new to Get Haunted, I assume, as well. Welcome, man. I hope you're doing well.
We'll talk about her a little bit when we get closer to revealing the cover, since she did such an amazing job on it and spent tons of time working on this book.
Since she's listening, Brian, you'll have to say nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
See what you were saying before the stream started. You can't be saying that
Hey,
shit.
Trevor. In fact, Amy was the one that did Sarah's replacement
It was excellent.
into Death Row.
Really good.
The squirrel herself is in the house. How's it going, D Hoot?
There she is.
Yeah.
There's the squirrel herself. Daniel Owens, nice to see you in here. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. And
So that's
Master-
Daniel from MSP. That's Dano,
oh, I'm sorry about that. How
the tour guide.
Gotcha. Thanks for being here. We also have Kaylee. How's it going, Kaylee? Nice to see you here. Hope you're doing well.
Hope
we
you feel
have
better.
Wojo.
Whoa, Joe.
We have Wojo. I have
He only
never
said hi to
met
Trevor.
this guy in person. I have never talked to him in depth in Messenger, but the energy he puts out through a profile picture is amazing and all of it.
He's a good guy.
His energy matches that and maybe exceeds it for sure.
Awesome. Like even the few times I've saw him on Richie's stream, fucking love the dude. I love him. I hate how this glitched out with the comments. Okay. And Heath McCarthy. How's it going,
Oh.
Heath?
Yeah, Heath went to MSP with me twice. He's also a character in the book, and he'll be flying in from California to go to the book release party.
Oh,
Nice. Is he located near California?
He's in
or is-
California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lives in
That's it
California.
right there, Trevor.
Wait,
Okay.
Trevor,
I didn't
Keep up, Trevor. Keep up.
I'm paying attention to like three things at once. I'm sorry. And then the woman herself, the queen of MSP.
Sheila, I thought you were
Sheila
gonna watch it
is
later while you were cooking Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. Fired up the stove.
And lastly, but not least, as of right now, the only new face in chat, Courtney Peterson. How's it going, sister? How's it going? Nice to see you here. I heard that you were having some type of going out, doing something, so I'm glad you could make it. Okay, I want to calm down with the talking for a little bit. So before I do that, though, Brian, talk about everything that you feel is necessary for
let's start with you. Introduce yourself.
Yes.
Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
Other than own a cool car, what do you do?
But you could talk about the car too.
Yeah, I pretty much just try to find out where all the cool kids are and then write about it.
Well, you found them. We're right here.
So I guess yeah. No, for I'm cooking it.
I have some natty lights. Hell yeah.
Of course you are, Sheila.
Hell yeah.
So no, it's well, so for people who don't know, but I think most of this time, I say it enough. I'm an author from Salem, Massachusetts. I was born and raised there. I moved to Washington, D.C. in 2020 during the pandemic. So now I live in D.C. And long story short, I moved out here, split from my wife, and had to get a job. So I went to work. I was a police officer for 16 years, but I got hired as a detective out here. And they had to send me to training in Missouri because all of our training is done in Missouri. And I was out there for 10 weeks for this training program. And we were kind of bored one weekend, and we were like, what do we want to do? And one of the guys in my training class was like, hey, the Missouri State Penitentiary does overnight ghost hunts. I'd never done one before. You'd think like growing up in Salem and being around like all that, like, mysticism and all that lore, I would have done something like this before. And I never did. Horror is my favorite genre. The haunted house category next to possession is my favorite horror category. And here I am like, why haven't I never done this before, right? So I went, and I remember being like 2 or 3 hours in, and it was a 5-hour ghost hunt. And when it ended, I couldn't believe it had been 5 hours already. Like I blinked and it was over. And I was still full of energy. I was like, no, I want to stay. I can't believe this is it's over. We have to leave. Like bitten by the bug, just absolutely bitten by the bug. We found out that the following weekend, so the very next weekend, Get Haunted and Nesper were doing an 8-hour overnight hunt. and immediately bought tickets. There was still some left, and I didn't care. Done. And I went, and I went with kind of the same crew that I went with the weekend before, and I met Jenny. Jenny was the lead tour guy that night.
Yeah.
And everybody who's ever met Jenny at MSP, she's a firecracker of a woman. And I met Rob.
Jenny is a soul that can't be matched.
No, right. She's a fire that can't be put out.
Oh, yeah. Fire. Oh, yeah. That's actually a better wording. Fire.
Yeah. I know. I'm the author, Trevor. Stay in your lane. So. I love you.
I know. I love you too, bro. But anyway, sorry.
But I met Rob that night, and I met Trevor that night. And of course, Wade and the Nesper guys. And it was during Rob put us into groups. Like, he broke us up into mini, because there was so many people there. So we cycled around to the 4 buildings that we could hunt in. The group that I went with was kind of so large that it was us, and then there was only room for 2 more people to be part of our group. And it just, by happenstance, the 2 women sitting in front of us, Hannah and her friend Lizzie, kind of got put in with us. So we spent, it was like 2 hours, I think it was.
I think you gave me a 20 to make that happen.
We said we would never talk about that.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot we were live.
So that's a non-disclosure contract you signed, and it's over now.
It just ended, like, officially, legally. It just
done.
Ended.
Legally, yes.
Done.
I will no longer be sending you $5 a month for friendship dues. Okay.
All right.
Oh, he gets royalties too, and I don't. I'm kidding.
I thought those were the cult. I thought those were the cult dues.
But it was, sometime during that, I think it was like a 2-hour. I think it took 2 hours for all the groups to go through the 4 buildings or something along that line.
No, about probably like almost 3.5, 4.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's like how much fun I had. It just time flew. And it was somewhere during there where I had already pitched what was going to be my next book to my editor. We already approved it. I already started kind of working on outline. My next book was going to be like a neo-noir, Dark City meets Silence of the Lambs type novel. And I was like, nope. I was like, there's something here. There's a story here. I don't know what it is yet. Like I hadn't figured that out, but something was, it's going to happen. And, it marinated in my head, and I reached out to Jenny. I found her I stalked her on Facebook and found what her last name was, and then was able to Facebook Messenger. And I was like, hey, this is who I am. I got this idea for a horror novel there. Is there any legal copyright ramifications I have to watch out for setting it in this building? At this point in time, I hadn't yet even considered writing the book, on the property. I also didn't know that I was coming back to Missouri for more training so soon after those 10 weeks. So that really wasn't in my thought. Jenny was like, I love this idea. This is amazing. Oh gosh, you know her, right? You can probably already hear her talking. And I decided, I was like, all right. So I started this outline. And when it came time to actually because my outline is kind of like character A, character B, character C, character D. They don't have names or gender yet when I build the outline. And then when it came time to work out who was going to be in the book, I was like, why don't I just use everybody who has something to do with MSP or has something to do with me falling in love with it, right? The people that were pivotal to me falling in love with that property. And then I was like, fuck. Are we allowed to swear on your show, Trevor? I'm sorry.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
okay. All right. I didn't Q-Bert exclamation marks going across my mouth or something like that,
Well, I'm over here live editing so strong. I'm I'm a DJ at this point. But no, you cannot fucking cuss on this show. I'm sorry.
All right, cool. That's good. So it's a grown-up show. All right.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. So that's what I was like, yeah, the Get Haunted guys. Why doesn't my novel take place during one of their events, right? So, I hadn't met Sarah yet because Sarah wasn't at that particular event. So I was like, well, What's that? Yeah, she was there in spirit, but I didn't
Spirit.
know about her yet.
Yeah.
So when my first outline was really Rob and Trevor being like the two main like people who were running it. And then I was like, oh my God, you're gonna let Trevor like be in charge of running an event with you? Like it's gonna be a disaster. So I backed up a bit.
that works beautifully if you're writing a comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when I reached out to Rob, and then I learned more about Get Haunted as an organization, or now I look at it as a family. Then I kind of redid the outline. So it's Sarah and Rob's event with Trevor, kind of being the get us coffee, little like gopher running around. You're like the intern now in the book. And
that's more fitting.
Yeah. And of course, all the tour guides are in it. Dano is in it. Reese, Lisa, Jenny, Barker, Duncan, and then all the people that I was there with that night. Hannah is my main character. Some of the guys that I was with are in it. Heath is, he's logged in. He's watching. Like I said, I went with him. He was there with me twice, so he's in it. But I had to do some shifting around. I had to do some. Oh, Sheila. Sorry, Sheila's in it.
Yeah.
I had to do some character shifting because I found myself, if I had too many tour guides, then it's too many characters, right? And now all of a sudden it's like Les Miserables. It's like, oh my God, how many fucking tour guides do we need when we have the Get Haunted people here? Because that's not realistic. So I made Dano a guest instead, right? But it's still him. Like it's still Dano. It's still his character. I kind of had to give him a different role. Barker, James, I gave him a different role. He still works for the penitentiary, but he's not a tour guide. But everybody else is who they are. Duncan is a tour guide now. He used to be Jefferson City PD. He retired from being a police officer. And when you do at the ghost tours at MSP, they always have a uniformed officer on the grounds. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I took Duncan away from being a tour guide. I put him back in uniform, and he's the uniformed officer on the tour. Awesome. So I kind of gave him. I told him, I joked with him while I was there. I said, "Hey, Duncan, I dragged you out of retirement. You got to put your uniform back on for a night." And then one night he was, on one of the tours. He was doing the tours, and he's like, he stopped me, and he's like, we were talking about his character, and I was like, "Don't worry, man. You break up a fist fight in the penitentiary. You got some action. You drag people out by their shirts." He's like, "Yes." So even though I may have changed a couple people, I still catered to like their personality. But other than that, everybody else is who they are. Like, the one thing I did do is if I used your first name in the book, I did not use your last name, obviously. And if I used your last name, I did not use your first name. So I did want to keep some,
So what's my last name?
So you're Trevor in the book. That's it. There's never a last name. There's no need for one, right?
I thought you meant like you changed the last name. I thought I was like Trevor Butler or something.
No. So like
Trevor is now like Cher or Bono.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So like Duncan, right? His first name is Patrick, but throughout the whole book, he's Officer Duncan. I never say Patrick.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. And James Barker, one of the tour guides, he goes by Barker, but I never say James Barker ever in the book. Because I did try to want to separate, the real.
Do you know how badass that would be? It's like my name's Barker, James Barker.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of where, so I went, I found out I was going back for 8 weeks, back to more training. And, me and Jenny were talking about it. And I don't remember like the exact moment of where it was said, but it was like, hey, my training is from Monday morning to Friday afternoon for those 8 weeks. How could it be possible that I could spend from, Friday late afternoon to, Saturday, Sunday morning, at the penitentiary, write the whole book there? I think I can do it over 8 weekends. And then of course, Sheila got brought in. What's that?
I'm gonna stop you real quick there because we've had some questions on the side, and one of them right now is a great time to answer this question.
Before you hop into it, I just wanted to say this for everyone here watching, to hype it up a little bit. at the end of this stream or near the end, we are going to be premiering the official book cover of These Walls Still Talk live on stream. For those of you who for some reason do not know, I wanted to let you know that. So be sure to stay in here and see something for the first time ever. So yeah. Oh, and also Brian, if you don't know, Damian Smith is our resident best question asker ever. So
Okay.
he will get into nooks and crannies you didn't know were possible.
We have like 6 questions from him starred already.
Yeah,
that we'll be sprinkling those in where it seems appropriate.
Yes.
All
But
right.
go ahead.
Bring it.
So this is the first
am I
question.
answering the one
from
that's
him.
on the screen? Is that what I'm
Yeah.
doing? Okay.
Do you think you had spirit attachment that unlocked your potential and creatively inspired you?
And to add to that, maybe inspired you to write at the prison.
You mean like while I was there for that overnight? I don't know. I think I'm very cautious about always saying that everything is, for lack of a better term, like everything is a ghost or everything is you know what I mean. Like a broom falls on the corner and that must have been a ghost that pushed it over because I'm on a ghost hunt. Right? No, it could have just something else could have, you know what I mean? So I tread lightly with stuff like this. And I think it was the atmosphere that Get Haunted and Nesper created and the staff. I don't want to belittle them at all because they put on, they the way you guys do, you guys have seen it, but what the tour guests don't ever see is how much work goes behind the scenes, how hard everybody there works. So I think the atmosphere of the place, and then because I'm an author, I'm always looking for that story. Like I'm always, my radar is always on. It never turns off. So I think it was, I think the place just spoke to me, and I'm not necessarily sure if it spoke to me in a creative way or maybe whatever resides there was sending me subliminal messages and I didn't notice and then I picked up on it because that could be
Speaking of you making that comment, I don't know what the context was behind her asking this at the time, but I can actually build off of that. Are you talking automatic writing, but also was there ever a point in the writing process to where you went from having to think about what's next in a given sentence or a paragraph to a spirit or a ghost experience or a spirit coming to you and be like, well, take it away, energy?
Yes. So that I can answer that in 2 different ways, and both of them is pretty cool because it one, I felt like I never didn't have writer's block for a moment, right? Maybe it was because I knew that Sheila had given me eight weekends to do this book, so maybe it was a sense of there is a deadline and I need to keep moving, or maybe it was the place keeping me forward. But I wrote, and you can ask any of the people who work there. Anytime they saw me, I was laptop open, clickety clacking away. I moved all over the place. I was all over the property. I didn't stay in one place, but I was constantly working. And that's, it just felt like it just flowed really well, and hopefully the book, represents that when it comes out and people read it. However, there were some things that happened where I had my Ghost Box or Ghost Tube app up most of the time while I was writing next to me, and it spits off things. You're not even asking your questions, right? Because I'm writing, and it's just saying things, and sometimes I would acknowledge it, and sometimes I wouldn't because it was so out of context. But there was at least 5 or 6 times throughout those 8 weekends, I documented all of them in the book, where I would stop writing and pause because I needed to make a decision on a scene or I needed to make a decision on which character was going to do the next thing, and the ghost tube would fucking say it. It was wild. For instance, my sister Alicia flew in from Salem for a weekend. So she was there. She did a Friday night, a Saturday night there, and then and then she flew back home. And she's a character in the book, but she's not my sister. She's not, she's my sister in real life, but she's just a guest in the book. And there's a scene in the book where I couldn't decide if I wanted her or another character to do something that was going to set a whole bunch of chain events into motion. And I'm sitting there thinking, and the Ghost Tube app went sister.
Oh.
I was like, okay, I guess Alicia's the one who's gonna set these. So
are you gonna give a writing credit to the ghosts?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, they get the ghost writers.
I think Rob's going to interject here.
Yeah, I'm going to, because A, you got to let him finish answering, but B, here's what I'll say, right? Brian and his friends that were there, so Missouri State Penitentiary, if you haven't been, is, first of all, aesthetically, it's an ominous, and it's an amazing location, right? So you have all that going on. Then you have the energy of these four. And I was talking, before we let everybody in, I go out front and talk to the guests and get them checked in. And Brian and everybody were out there, and you guys stood out. Like, your energy was right there. I knew you guys were going to be fun. But like Brian said, and I'm going to speak for you, Brian, like, he is always observing and always watching, right? So, and they had a lot of questions that night. You guys were really, really awesome. So I wasn't very, very surprised to learn that you're an author. But I was surprised to hear about, what this book was going to become. But if you're going to pick a location, like, God damn, you definitely picked probably, especially for your first time doing this, one of the biggest and baddest locations out there. But you guys were absolutely awesome that night. Where were we? 3D, like down there, the questions, you guys were into it. So I knew instantly that you had been bitten by the bug. You know what I'm saying? Like you said. So yeah, it was.
If it gives anybody here a good idea of how ominous MSP actually is, I took this picture on the way up from the gas chamber, and this is what it is. Like, that was MSP that night.
That kind of looks like it's Dracula's castle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look, it's very fortressy. It is just one of those places that you just can't get enough of. Sarah was supposed to be there that night. She couldn't do it, but she will be there next year. Yeah. So, man, you couldn't have picked a better place. Then we did have, right, we layered in with Nesper being there with their artifacts, right? That's a whole new layer of freakiness and scariness, right? Whether you believe it or not, they're right there, like 2 feet from you, and it is pretty. It was one of my favorite events. Got to meet Brian, which was awesome. Clearly, he loved everything about me. And I made a really, really good friend who writes really, really good books. Oh, there's Wade right there. Wade was there that night. Like, you had the perfect cast of characters with you that night too, Brian. So
yeah,
it's just really cool. Really cool.
I've actually told a couple author friends, now that I'm back in DC, I'm back home. I've done about, I don't know, 8 or 9 festivals and conventions. I've been back, and I've had a lot of other authors want to talk to me about the experience because they follow me on social media. So I was very public with what I was doing while I was there. I've been published for 17 years. My first novel came out in 2007. This is my 11th overall novel in my writing career. And I will tell you that I have never felt a novel call to me before as much as this one did, where it was almost like it was like I have to write it. It wasn't like I want to. I'm going to put it on the list of ideas. Then I'm like, I have a Microsoft Word document of a list of ideas of novels, I knew that I took the novel that I already pitched to my editor and took it off the table. I was like, no, this is next. I don't know why, but this one's next. This is the time. I believe in serendipity, and I just feel like it was serendipitous that I went out to, that I moved to DC, that I had to find a new job. The job that I got had to send me to training in Missouri at the same time that you were out there. I went, you know what I mean? Like if you domino it back, there's so many pieces.
I think I believe I spoke about serendipity and being on a path that very night, like as part of my intro. And it is very, very true.
Right.
Truly believe in all of that. So yeah, and Denise, I will poison Brian's mind before he gets there. So take it easy. I might even show up. Okay.
So Rob, quick question for you. Have you done any of the looking into the dates of everything that happened with Brian around this
Not
book?
yet.
See if there's any more
I know
twos?
exactly where you're going, and probably need to, because we have at least 2 or 3 dates that we can start applying some reverse engineering to see where they land in all of this. Brian, I think we've talked about numbers.
Yeah.
In the past. So yeah, that's what Bill's.
Yeah. No, I figured.
So yeah, man, like it's just cool. But MSP is definitely one of those places that will call to you, and it will. I know you want to go back right now. I know you.
Me?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, I would go back yesterday. Oh yeah. In fact, I fell in love with it so much that some of the staff there, a lot of the people who are there are like like Jefferson City PD or have some of these law enforcement there, and that's what I'm in. I even had one of the assistant tour guides who joked consistently that he was going to bring me a Jefferson City PD resume so I could get hired on with the PD, so then I could also work as a tour guide at the prison. Like they were already trying to like set it up for me,
Sheila, Jenny, all them, they become family. And over the many years I've known them now, they're always there for you through thick and thin. When you show up, it's kind of like coming home. They're just an amazing group of people, and the location's amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've been gone now. I left September 15th. I left so Saturday night, the 14th, into Sunday morning, the 15th was my last when I left. When I said goodbye, finished the novel, and I said goodbye. And since it's been over 2 months, I've had four or five of the tour guides at different times text me hey man, it's not the same walking into A Hall and not seeing you sitting at your little writing desk.
Yeah.
In fact, Patrick just last weekend took a picture of my writing desk. It's still set up with a little thing like "Miss you, bro." So it definitely felt like I was accepted. I'm not employed there, right? There was no reason for them to accept me as much as they did, right? I could have just been an annoyance, or I could have been looked at as a piece of furniture that was just there writing, but they included me in their lives. I got to know them personally. I mean, even Dano, and he's watching right now. I can't tell you how many times he's like just Facebook messaged me out of the blue. It's like, man, I really miss you. I was thinking about, it's just like it's like family. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're really good people.
Yeah, and it was great because it was very well known that I would not go into the dungeon or 3D to write by myself. In fact, the only time I ever went into the dungeon by myself, the whole 8 weeks I was there, was to film that video for you, Rob, where I spend the entire time looking up and over my phone at the doorway because I keep.
He's terrified.
I'm terrified.
Here's the best part. I don't think I ever used that video. I don't think we ever showed it. I'm an asshole.
No, I sent it to you. Yeah, I Dropboxed it to you, but you.
I know. I do have it.
Did you want to premiere it here?
Let's premiere. Let's
premiere. I mean, you can see the look on my face. That because he sent me. Rob emailed me a bunch of questions to answer, but he wanted me to do it from the in-your-face cell down in the dungeon, which is the most scariest place in the whole property for me. And he's like, "Yeah, you can go down by yourself and do it." And I'm like, "Well, what am I going to do? Say no to this guy?" And I'm going to look like you know, like a scaredy cat. But if you like, you can see my face looking like just cannot wait to get out of that room, because nobody was on the property at the time except for the cashier and the tour guide. But they were all in the office because there was a tour about to start. So I was alone in A Hall in 4. But I went down to answer those questions, and that was like the longest 3 minutes of my life, or however long I filmed that little snippet. But everybody there knew I wouldn't go down there direct by myself. So they were all so cool, because like Dano and Barker and everyone would grab me. They're like, "Hey Brian, we're gonna go to 3D. Hey, we're gonna go to the dungeon. You want to go right?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." But they knew to like find me to tell me that they were going down, because I wouldn't go down otherwise.
Rob, I'm not sure if you can share on your
I'm
end, but
trying to get to it.
okay.
Yeah.
But if you can't share, then send it to me in text, and I can airdrop it over.
Yeah, I got to get it.
I'm just letting you know. But while he's doing that, Damien, we have some more questions from Damien, if you are interested.
Yeah, bring him on.
Where does Brian get his inspiration from? Is it based on real life, or that he puts into words?
Are you talking so if you're talking about inspiration for this book specifically, or are we talking about like my repertoire, like all the other books I've written?
Let's do this book specifically, the soundtrack.
So this book specifically, the inspiration was going on that special event and doing the ghost hunts, but going station to station. It wasn't when we did free roam. It was the station to station part, where I was like, oh my God, what if during this, like everything goes south? Like the ghosts are finally had it, or somebody who's one of the guests brought something in that stirs them all up, right? So I was like, a horror novel about a ghost hunt gone wrong during the ghost hunt. And I started to think in my head, I don't know of too many books or movies that have that. There's a lot of movies where, there's malevolent poltergeists, and then they call the ghost hunters to come in to help. But how many books and movies start off with the ghost hunters going in with guests, right? They're not going in by themselves, like Session 9, if you know that horror movie. That was actually filmed up in Salem, Danvers. I kept thinking about it. I was like, no, all these movies are about the hunters and then what happens to them. But what if we pack the place with guests, right? And shit starts going south, So that's kind of that was my inspiration for this particular book.
Another one, and this is actually, I'm not sure if you have ever thought about this, but with writing in haunted locations, do you think you could manifest an entity or create a spirit from the story into reality? Like almost like a Slender Man, but like real?
Like a Tulpa or egregore kind of
situation. Yeah. Maybe that's possible, because maybe imagination and creativity is another form of energy. And then maybe that energy can take physical manifestation. I will tell you, with this particular book, there's nothing in the book that hasn't been seen or documented at MSP. I didn't put a fake ghost really or fake entity in the book. So we have Big Boy, the 7-foot shadow figure, right?
Yes.
Like he's in it. The gray-skinned woman that everyone sees in the women's unit, she's in it. The Peakers in A Hall, they're in it. The riot from the riot that happened in '54, like the leftover energy from the riots there. I didn't take anything that isn't at MSP that people haven't seen or experienced. I didn't go outside that. I tried to keep it as absolutely true to MSP. I didn't want to put like a witch doesn't walk through, right? Because no one's ever seen a witch there, right? Like I didn't throw something bizarre in MSP. I used what people have tried and true, seen and experienced throughout the years, and those are the entities that are in the book only.
Is there a point like in your book, like what it says like in the movie is like based on a true story?
Not until the end. But it's not. Okay. So it's at the end. There's an author. So what happened was on the first night, something happened to me when I wrote the second paragraph of the entire novel, enough for me to write it down and go, well, that was interesting. So I'm going to keep a diary. And this diary grew. And you know, Trevor, you spent a night there with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was keeping notes of all the paranormal things that were happening to me while I was writing the book. We are publishing that diary as the author's note at the end of the novel. So the novel will end, novel's done, then there'll be a new page that lets you know you've exited the novel and that you're now going into, me talking. And that is where, so before the diary is posted, I do kind of go into, the fact that all this really happened, this happened and, stuff like that. So, but I did it at the end, not at the beginning, where it usually is placed. Yeah. So
Sarah, what are you thinking up there?
Yeah, I just think this is such a cool idea, and obviously to be included in something like this is such an honor, and to know obviously everybody that from Get Haunted that goes to these events and speaks to the guest. I know what attracted me to Get Haunted when I met Bill and Rob, to hear them discuss what Get Haunted was. And then to know a few years into it, Brian, that you had that same feeling, that it inspired you. But what a really, I think you talked about this, Brian, before, but, I'm sure you're inspiring so many authors now to be like, I have to get inside a really cool historical haunted location, right? To write
so let
a
me
book.
interrupt
But
you
I
real
love
quick.
that you're keeping true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sheila, if she heard you say that, she's probably laughing wherever she is cooking food and drinking her drinks, because there was a point of me being there that she got phone calls from authors who wanted to know how they could stay at MSP to write a book. And, we had to kind of tone down the amount of fanfare or whatever that we were doing, because it was actually creating other people now wanting to know how they can get in and do it. So like there was a point during my stay there where we took a step back because of that, which was crazy, right? So
I love that. I think like it is such it's, to me, right? You're taking something that so many of us have this big and deep passion for. And I love that you're using the entities right from that location, that you didn't make something up. So you're holding true. And I think, I don't know, I mean, out of a lot of paranormal books, outside of books that investigators have written about their own experiences, right? But outside of that, I don't know that anybody's ever done that. Have you?
No, I've tried to look for other authors. I've even talked to other authors, in the circle that I run, and asked them, and they've all said the same thing. They said, we've never heard of any of this, something like this ever happening before. Not only like the novel itself, like the fact that I'm keeping so true to like the paranormal history of the place, but then also being allowed to write inside location. Like, it's, when an actor stays in character, it's called method acting. So I've been told that you've just created a new genre. It's method writing. Like nobody, like
that's dope though.
It's crazy, right? So I can't find any other, there's people who write, the story takes place in Italy, right? So they go to Italy to write, right? I mean, that happens all the time, right? But no, not to like almost trap yourself, because when I went there on the weekends, I did not leave that property until I had to leave the property, with the staff. And so, yeah, when I went in there and wrote, the only time I took a break was to run into the office to have a sip of coffee, or, you know what I mean? Like I trapped myself in there to write about the actual walls that were surrounding me, and there was some times when I was writing some scenes in A-Hall I was by myself, because, like the sun would go down. So it was pitch black, and like there would be a ghost tour group that went through, but they would leave A Hall, right? Because they would go to the next location, whether it was Death Row or the gas chamber. So then I was alone for like 40 minutes before the next tour group came through. I could almost time it by my watch when the next group would come through. And there were some times during those 40 minutes where I was completely alone in that building. And A Hall is creepy by itself, never mind being in there by yourself at night, where I was writing and I'm in it, and I felt like the place close in on me, right?
Yeah.
But not in like a menacing way. It was almost like hugging me, right? Like the darkness got almost palpable, but again, never frightening. It was never like, you know, and then
Oh
you
yeah, it can get fright. I don't want to hear that, right?
well,
I mean,
if
there
you're
have been
talking about the
times-
dungeon, like, yeah, I know about
Yeah,
that.
like 3:30 in the morning when everybody's supposed to be gone, and we have to clear those friggin' buildings.
Yeah.
And it'd be like me and a cop, one of the cops, and you know, we'd get to 3D to the stairs, and we'd like look at each other like, I don't want to go down there. I'm like, yeah. So we'd like yell down, "Hey, anybody down there?" Like, no answer. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, we're good.
Not trying to get anybody in trouble, but it can be friggin' terrifying there.
Yeah.
Especially when you're alone and in a hall or 3, you know,
Yeah.
building. It's nuts.
Yeah, no, it is. And some of my favorite times writing was those like 40 minutes in between each tour cycle in A Hall, in my little writing desk in the darkness. You know, as you know, as odd to say that. And I got into a habit of going with the tour guide every night to close each building.
Yeah.
I just accompanied them, you know, and we would kind of clear together and you know, but yeah, the place never stops giving off that feeling.
No.
Like you never feel it like breathe, you know, it's like, it's always pressing, you know, which is,
it's
so,
ominous.
yeah.
The reason I can't share and because there's a reason he used Dropbox, because it's 256 meg, it's a quarter of a gig. Can't send it to you, Trevor, otherwise I'd put it up, and it's a .mov, which Adobe Premiere hates. I forget, you know, he's a Mac guy, I think.
I have Premiere.
I have Premiere too, but it doesn't like the codec he used, so that's why I never used it.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, can you upload it to Google Drive quickly with your Wi-Fi?
Yeah, listen. Yeah.
Okay, no.
Just carry on with your interview.
I will be answering this next question, and yes, it is a joke. I need to preface this because of the joke, but I will not be narrating the book note because he didn't add any stutters in it, so
no,
I can't.
Hold on. So that is not true. In the book,
shit.
you get all riled up and you start stuttering. Yeah.
So I will unofficially have a guest speaker spot in the audio. I'm kidding.
So Brian, can you tell us about some of the paranormal experiences that you had while writing the book?
Yeah. Gosh, I would say there's probably 3 that stand out the most. Like when I think about it, right? It's all my paranormal experiences will be in the diary that will be published in the book. I don't leave anything out, even the boring stuff. But there's 3. One of them happened with Trevor, because when Trevor came and visited and stayed, did an overnight with me. We had I'll go through them really quickly, just so. But we had a peeker, maybe, I don't know.
A peeker / crawler thing.
Something stepped out of around cell 20, which is a cell that Wade told me to write in because there's a lot of activity in there. It kind of stood by one of the big film projectors they have, and then it slunk down on the ground. And I don't know how to describe it, but
it went from a regular human-sized peeker, and then it melted into almost like liquid on like on a floor, and then within seconds, 3 or less, it shot over to the opposing
other side of A Hall. This is A Hall, right at the dungeon stairs.
Yeah.
So right in front of the dungeon stairs, right, across the straight line. We both saw it.
Yeah. So like,
and we corroborated where like we weren't like we weren't feeding off each other's descriptions. Like
Yeah,
we were
because
asking each other questions.
because you even waited to see if I said what you saw, and just to give everybody like an idea of how fast it moved, from the time it took for Brian to see the peeker to look at me to ask and then to look back, which is maybe 3 seconds, it had already made a full circle to the other opposing door. But
Yeah,
keep going, Brian.
I would say my favorite one was me and Barker were in cell 20. I was sitting in the barber chair. There's a barber chair in the corner. Wade is the one that told me to go into the cell and write. This Wade from Nesper. I was sitting in the barber chair writing. The uniformed police officer who had nothing to do with the ghost tour, right? They're not there as a guest. They're not there to partake. They're there for safety. They're there as cops on doing a job. Barker was kind of sitting on the floor. There's a bench next to the barber chair. The on-duty police officer was kind of like walking around and saw that I was in there writing and saw Barker was in there. So she came in and she sat down on the bench just to kind of chit-chat. We're chit-chatting and she stops and goes, "I feel something touching my right leg." Me and Barker both look down and her right leg is gone. Meaning it's like someone had taken like a black pillowcase or black curtain and like was holding it over her right leg. You could see her left leg fine, but her right leg was just not there, right? And Barker's like, "Brian," I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking see it," right? Now I'm thinking it's like the glow from my laptop screen. So I slam my laptop closed to make sure that I'm not getting any weird shadows from it, because that does create shadows. It wasn't. She goes, "Whatever's touching me, could you please leave or please go somewhere else?" I forget the words she used, but as soon as she said it, all three of us saw it disappear underneath the sink of that cell. So it skidded like across, but it was never a form. There was never any distinguishable shape. There was never like fingers or a head. You know what I mean? It was just a
Like a black mass.
not even like a shadow, right? Because a shadow has some sort of outline of whatever it's cast. It was like a blob, but not a blob, right? Like it's not,
Like a black mass.
But that was, I mean, all three of us, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Okay," and the three of us left. Like
Yeah.
the three of us just stood up and like walked out. Like it was like, "Yeah, we've had enough in here." No, and for all three of us to see it, and for the uniformed police officer to experience it and see it, right? They're not there looking, right? They're not there hunting. They're a neutral party,
They've had all kinds of cool experiences.
Yeah. And then the third, what the heck was the third one? Oh, the third one was the in-your-face cell in the dungeon. Again, I made jokes to guests, and this was during a hunt, not a tour. I would make jokes to the guests, and I would say, "Hey, if anybody's heading down to the dungeon, let me know, because I won't write down there by myself." And this woman, a guest, so she's a complete stranger to me, she's like, "Hey, I'm going down to, I want to go down to the dungeon." I said, "Oh yeah, I'll go down with you." So we go to the in-your-face cell, and I'm sitting in the chair that I sat in to make that video for you, Rob. And she's standing in the middle of the room, and she's got a ponytail. I don't remember if it was my ghost tube or her ghost tube, but one of them said, "Do you feel that?" or "Do you feel it?" Again, I don't remember. She turned to me and said, Do we feel what?" And as soon as she said that, something pulled her ponytail so hard that her ear kind of went down to her shoulder and released, and she screamed. And then right behind me, I heard what would sound like fingernails. If someone was tapping fingernails, those walls down there are limestone, right?
Yeah.
So if you tap your fingernails on them, there's like this tap, tap, tap. It went around my head because I was sitting against the back corner, and we both bolted. Me and this complete stranger, this guest. I fucking took off. I ran so fast, I was ready to knock old women and children down to get out of my way, right? Because I'm in the one place that scares me the most.
So you pulled a Rob.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Yeah, no,
Little
that was
kids, I don't care. I'll run you right over.
yeah.
Babies.
If I didn't see her head get yanked and her scream and then hear those tappings, like if someone was telling me the story, I might like be kind of skeptical, because that's so much like aggressive touching, right? But I just watched it. It was unbelievable. I mean, I wish I'd videoed. I wish I knew to have like videos, keep my video on or something.
hell, since you're a cop or a detective, like you should. Are you allowed to bring your body cam to investigations?
No,
Oh, okay, I didn't
that's
know if you were
all.
or not.
That's all government property. I
I
can't.
have
do
one.
that,
Okay.
but-
I have one. You don't need a police version.
Just go buy a body cam.
Well,
All
if
right.
you already
Just go back. Buddy.
I want to see this. I want to see this damn book cover already.
okay,
All right,
so
do we want to
Are
do
we
this?
allowed to see it?
All right. So let's preface this. So
Preface
Amy's in the chat. Right. So she's the full graphic designer for the entire book. She's doing everything: the title page, the
see
chapter
if I can find them.
headings, everything that you're going to see in the book. So she took. These are a photo I took of 3D. You'll see the photo of 3D and a photo I took of the front of the Missouri State Penitentiary. And I sent them to her and I said, hey, can you do something with these two photos? No, I want these to be part of the front cover of the book, but work your magic because I trust in your expertise. And remember the book's called These Walls Still Talk, and it's a Get Haunted tale. And she came up with this.
All right.
World premiere. It's the world premiere.
World premiere in 3, 2, 1. There it is.
Look at that.
Very cool.
There it
So
is.
if you look down
Like-
at at MSP at the bottom, you can see little shadow figures like in the windows.
Give me 1 second, and I will quickly do this.
That is such a great book cover, Ryan.
I love it.
Let me zoom out just a little bit more. I'm sorry. But yeah. So let me. Wrong button. There we go.
Yeah, see the little people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even notice them at first when she showed me the cover. It took me like a couple minutes. I was like, "Hey, there's people in the windows." But that top picture is the end of 3D, where we know so much stuff happens down at the end of that hallway. That's where the shower would be, like right at the very end there.
Yep.
And there's some shadow people up there, shadow figures up there and stuff. And
Well, that was, I think, my story is really where we first started talking, because you validated a story for me by doing some kind of research. It's pretty much right where it is. I actually have a photo Jenny gave me right there in that spot. Let me find that. Did she ever show that to you, Brian? The pair of legs?
no,
Oh shit.
no.
If you find it, send me it in regular text, Rob. Just FYI.
Don't tell me what to do.
I will. This is shut yo. I'm gonna be nice.
Hey,
shut
So,
yo.
so Brian, are
butt.
you going to have a glow in the dark version of the cover?
Oh, that
Damien
would
wants
be
one.
Amy. Can we do a glow in the dark version? Is that?
Oh my god.
I mean, is
That's
that?
gonna cost money.
Hey, Trevor, can you bring it out so we can see the whole cover?
Oh yeah. Give me 1 second. There you go.
That's beautiful. It looks good.
Like, Bill, I have to ask, thinking back to 12/22/2021, and you and Rob are on Paranormally Blonde pitching Get Haunted. Did you ever think in a million years that Get Haunted would ever be a part of something this cool?
No, I mean Rob and I, like,
The way
especially,
you laugh.
especially
Like, what do you think?
well, in the early in the early times, like when we were first starting Get Haunted, Rob and I talked a lot about different, ways that this can go in the
I hear.
future. There wasn't like a solid plan. It was just, ideas, and
There.
Yeah.
this was never one of them. But it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. Brian, thank you, man.
No,
Like,
thank you, Rob.
yeah, it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to look at and take it all in. And Sheila, God damn it, I love you. Seriously, thank you for letting Brian complete this project, and thanks for always being the person that you are. And without you and Jenny and the whole crew there, this none of us would be sitting here talking about this. This is just incredible.
All right,
Yes,
Rob. I'm
thank
about
you,
to bring
Sheila.
up the
definitely. Thank you,
pictures you
Sheila.
sent me. I don't know where to look at, so you're gonna have to steer me.
Oh, there's a little arrow. If you
Oh,
zoom
there's
in,
an arrow. Oh, okay. I didn't see the
if you
arrow whenever
zoom
I saved it.
in the back, you'll
Shit.
see a pair of legs back there. So that's the end. That's
Okay,
the end
give
of
me 1
3D.
second.
I don't know if you can zoom or not.
Yeah.
Jenny gave me this picture a while back. I believe a guest got it. It's a little hard to see there, but you can see a figure. I see legs, 1 foot in front of the other.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seen some crazy shit back on 3D. Such a good spot. Such a good
So-
spot down there.
Do you guys know about the hands in the women's unit in the bars picture? I think I showed some of
the
you guys at
picture,
the
no.
soiree, right?
Oh yeah. You showed that
Yeah.
to me.
So
What the sport? Yeah. Send that to me again. I want to show that.
Well,
Well,
it's so I got permission from the person who took it to put it in the book. So it's going to be in the book.
Ooh.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's so really quickly. It was a normal ghost tour. It wasn't part of a ghost hunt. Jenny was running it. They were ready to leave the women's unit to go into A hall. Jenny kind of lined everybody up against the wall to make sure that all was accounted for. This woman raised her phone, took a picture, and as soon as she took it, like she gasped. And this was the weekend my sister was there, so my sister was standing next to this woman. Showed my sister this photo. Jenny comes over. What? You can picture all being all Jenny like. And this picture is it's the clearest hands I've ever seen of a ghost in my entire life, coming through the bars right directly in front of where this woman took a picture.
It's a wild photo. Brian showed it to me at the soiree.
What's that?
You showed it to me at the soiree. It was absolutely phenomenal. It blew my mind.
The detail of the fingernails and the fingers. It's not like a shadow figure. It's and this woman had no time to doctor it, had no time to put it in a program and edit it. It's not like she took it previous and had it like saved on her phone to like stage it, right? That it all happened in real time. And I told I had Jenny tell the lady, ask her if I could please publish it. I know it has nothing to do with the storyline. I know it has nothing to do with like me writing in MSP, but the fact that I was there when it happened and it caused such a stir that night, I said so the book is going to end with that photo. Like that's going to be like on the last page. But it is I can't. It was just so amazing, that picture. Yeah.
I mean, this is all just so cool. Yeah. So, and then we're gonna do this book release party next year, right?
Yeah. Let's plug that. Yeah, June 21st.
June 21st.
We will be book release party at MSP. Full
I have it
overnight
up right here.
Full overnight Get Haunted ghost hunt. There's only 100. We're only 100 tickets only. So it's and I know we've been selling some. So
we have, and people are going to think that's an awful lot. If you've been to MSP, it's not, right? That boils down to, we'll probably have about 5 groups there, and we probably, I hope we do, but if we don't sell the 100, we break the large groups down into much smaller groups, and then we'll rotate you through the night. This is going to be a party. It's going to be pretty badass.
Yeah, I have so many ideas for like.
Yeah, we're going to make this work, but we need you there. Here, we need everybody there. Come meet Brian, get a book, come hang out with us, meet Sarah. Here's what I'm going to say, right? Like whatever, Brian, whatever you experienced that night. So Bill and I, from day zero, kind of started Get Haunted off the ground. Oddly enough, 222 days before we went on Sarah's show, Bill had reached out to Sarah to be on the show as Empty Casket. Get Haunted came along later. Then in December, ended up on Sarah's show on 12/22. Then 2/2 of the following year, talked to Sarah. She eventually came on. But the idea and what was implemented with Get Haunted was received by Sarah. But a lot of what you guys see today really is kind of the essence of the way Sarah views and treats the community. So it's morphed over many, many things. But Bill, literally, Bill's been right there, and then we've watched this whole thing grow from 2-3 people into where we are today, and then ultimately running into Brian at one of my favorite locations out there. So to get there, you go to extremeticketing.com and you buy yourself a ticket. There's going to be cool merch. There's going to be all kinds of things. But, thank you to Brian. Thank you to Bill for helping me get this thing off the ground. Thank you, Sarah, for everything you've created and built alongside of me and the community. Thanks, Trevor, for I don't even know what you do, but thank you.
Well, no, but you know what?
I'm
Though,
joking.
to piggyback off something you said, though, like I do go back and rewatch the show that you and Bill were on way back in 2021. I do. I watch it every so often, and what Bill spoke about, what you spoke about, Rob. Brian is what you guys spoke about. That is exactly what I heard and was so excited to join that night on 12/21. After the show, I joined the network, and Brian is exactly what you guys are talking about. It's the inspiration, it's the encouragement that this community and this network provides, and to see all the different people come together. And Trevor is part of that. Trevor saw something in Get Haunted, and he came in, and to watch everybody growing into their passion, and watching Bill with his talking board museum, which, oh my God, if you haven't, it is so freaking fantastic and fabulous. And you can hire them, by the way, to do your event and your things that you guys have going on. Add them. They're an amazing piece to add. Watching Trev do his found footage. And then to meet Brian, this is to be able to watch that and to see this grow. I think like just this panel itself is giving me the same exact feeling I had on 12/22/2021. It's real life. These are real people. And everybody on the side talking, Damien, right? You all these people that are coming together. Like, I don't know if you two realize this, but this is, for whatever reason, I think this is what I must have seen. This exactly is what I saw on 12/22/2021.
Well, and you have four people here that literally never look. Trevor, I bust your balls a lot.
Yeah, no.
But you're a guy that you don't give up. Like, you hung on to what you wanted to do. I mean, and I made your ass wait probably a year.
Yeah.
And so I just knew where you needed to be for you. And you never gave up, and you never walked away, and you never quit. Bill, you too, on things. So, and I'm sure that's Brian's story here. He's sitting in a DeLorean. I'm sitting in so whatever. But no, and that is really one of the things that we wanted to bring with Get Haunted was to let people find their space and find their way to grow and achieve those things without so many barriers or people getting in the way. So that's the whole thing. And to see it all come together this way, Brian, bro, like, seriously, there will be a little miniature 3D statue of you. I'm gonna have to scan you one day somewhere in this office.
All right.
You don't know what this means to us, like, for real. Thank you.
I mean, the thing is, it's reciprocal, because you don't know what it means to me that you guys welcome me, with open arms, So, I mean, it's a two-way street. This isn't. So.
Yeah,
I think we can agree on that.
And for all those out there that like are, and this goes for what Bill does, what Brian does, what I do, what Sarah does with PB and everything, and what Rob does with Rob. Get Haunted. Speaking on strictly events here, it's like whenever you come into a Get Haunted event, whether you're a talking board museum that's that's an attachment of the event itself, or Brian, he comes in, has one of the experiences of his lifetime that turns into a book that is going to be great. I know it is. Mainly because of Rob. I get it, but but and then me coming into being this journey that I've had, and then seeing all these unique experiences from behind the scenes to the main event itself, and turning that into footage. Get Honda is not just a company that you pay or join to do something, and then you do what that thing offers, and then you walk away smiling and going great. Not only can you do that, but you can also take what you received, learned, and gained from that experience, friends, family, merch, whatever it is, and you can actually turn that inspiration into something that you love to do as well. And then once you do that, bring it back into the community, because that's what our community, the community, your community is for. It's not just a company. It's not just a network that is being given to you. It's something that we love to receive back from you as well, whether it's just a comment on Facebook or a physical project or evidence. I don't care. Do you, man or woman? Like, it's everything. So yeah, I could rant on and on. You guys know,
Yeah,
know
please don't.
that. I'm gonna shut up.
This is
But-
why I made you wait
yeah.
a year.
and that's fair. And that's fair.
We had to get
Well,
you
I
off the
do.
caffeine.
I do want to say one thing.
Yes.
If you noticed on the front cover of the book,
Let me bring that back up real quick.
above the title of the book, it does say a Get Haunted Tale. Right?
Give me a second. Yeah. Give me. Sorry, I'm looking through like 8 different pictures. Okay, here
That's
we go.
okay. I can just keep
Yeah.
talking. Yeah. So above these walls still talk, it says a Get Haunted Tale. The reason why that is there is because we have decided to go ahead and turn this into a series. Now,
That
Sunday,
was going to be my next question.
right. So wait, so Sunday, not only is it going to be my birthday, woo, woo, but I will be on Ernie and Denise's podcast.
Yes.
And I'm doing that specifically for 2 reasons. One, we're going to debut the book trailer for These Walls Still Talk. And I did share it with some of the people who are on the panel right now. And I'm super excited about this book trailer, but it's going to be debut to the world on their show Sunday. But Sunday, we're also going to, for the very first time, talk about what book 2 is going to be and bring, and where it's going to be, and what it's going to entail. This went from a single standalone novel to the idea of like the Hardy Boys or the Nancy Drew series, where each book will be a separate standalone novel, but each one will be a Get Haunted Tale.
I love that.
That's so awesome.
So make sure everybody who's watching this before now and Sunday to tune into their
yes.
Pac-Man Paranormal 8 p.m.
Not just this Sunday, but just a shout out to the PAX, because they're fucking amazing people that put up with me as well. But,
Get my
Yes, Rob.
autograph now, people. Get it now.
But we will be
Alright.
on that show. We will be talking a little.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about book 2 and delving into that, and that is going to be a wild ride as well.
Yes.
And of course, the debut of the trailer. The book trailer is just, I keep watching it and I keep forgetting that it's a trailer of a book I wrote, and I keep going, I want to read this book. Then I'm like, oh, fuck, wait, they're the one who wrote it. Because I'm just so happy with the way the production company made the trailer. It just...
Well, I can tell you, I want to read the book.
yes. And
I'll narrate it.
I know this is a random, but it's kind of a funny, stupid fact.
Oh no.
Brian, your book, yes, I will read it, obviously. Your book will be the first book I have read in a decade,
Don't say that.
and will be the 4th book I've read in full in all my life.
Well, that's why I made sure I used little words because I knew you were going to be reading it.
Yes. So
Anything that any word that had more than 3 syllables, I got rid of because I was like, Trevor won't be
see,
able to follow
and it's
this.
not because I can't read them. It's because if it's more than 3, I stutter on them like 8 times, and I piss myself off.
Yeah, he stutters in his mind too.
That's fair.
And
Oh, wait a minute. A stuttering mind. That's a good name for a book.
Stuttering Mind also sounds like a great deathcore band.
Oh, that too.
Chapter
Yeah.
1.
Oh, it could be
Yeah.
about a book about a deathcore band named Stuttering Mind.
Okay.
I want
See,
to
this
be the
is how shit
narrator. That's
happens.
what I want. I just want to narrate. Okay.
You want to
Chapter
narrate what?
your whole book. Chapter 1, when I first met Rob.
Okay. Okay, would you guys like me to leave the boys now? You guys can have your bro moments together, or
It was a warm August afternoon.
It's about to be 2 beards, 1 casket here in this bitch.
He came walking.
That's
no.
if you didn't watch the last
it
episode,
really
me and we're probably not going to do it because we just don't have time. Because I'm thinking to start a little teaser. I'm thinking of starting up another podcast of mine, but that's more info to come on that one. But me and Bill lightly talked about doing an after dark podcast called 2 Beards, 1 Casket, but we talked about it more and we're like, we just don't have fucking time for this, so we just chose not
Okay.
to.
Thank you for all that extra information we didn't need.
Well, it was a funny story. Bill, Rob, I
Yeah.
love you.
No,
Shut up.
you've been buzzed.
So, so Sarah, I know you got to go get back to your daughters.
I do.
So
I
go.
enjoy the time with the boys, but my girls, my chickens are home. So
Thank you for
Looking for-
hanging out.
I hope you and your chickens have a great night.
thank you, Brian. Thank you. This opportunity. I look forward to seeing where this goes. Truly, it's exciting to watch. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. Don't do that.
You hate that, don't do that.
But seriously, thank you for that. Like this is something I don't think if anybody would have asked me 5 years ago, what do you think, where would you be in 5 years? It wouldn't be talking to an amazing author and being a part
In a
of something.
DeLorean. Yeah.
In a DeLorean, with these incredible people that I get to call friends. So
So
thank
aren't
you.
you glad? I'm so glad that I didn't kill any of the Get Haunted crew in my novel because I don't know if Danny told you of my original idea of the ending, Rob, because I told her
She
at the
didn't.
soiree.
Nobody. I don't
Click add
know.
stage at the
I
same
know
time.
nothing.
Because so she told me, she's like, tell me. She's like, does Rob die? And I was like, well, in the original outline.
Was she
just gonna
hoping or
massacre. It was
asking?
just going to be, oh yeah. I mean, it was, and I told her what my original outline plan was for you. And then I changed it because I didn't want the book to be over the top, right? I was like, nope, MSP is a subtle creepiness. It's not over the top. So I scaled it back and I chose For You to Live. And obviously this was before, we decided or thought about this becoming an actual book series. So I'm so glad that like maybe against serendipity or something told me to not keep that original ending. Because then how could I, have more books? I mean, I have to like creatively come up with something. And I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah.
Well, Rob becomes the ghost in the next book.
So, thankfully all the Get Haunted people in my novel make it out alive or there wouldn't be a book 2. So I'm like really thankful that I did that.
Thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
Listen,
I can't say the same for the tour guides though, but
But Rob will die in paragraph 1 of book 2, right?
I don't know.
you could probably make some extra money on. There's some people that would give you money to kill me off in that book.
Like every single book in the series starts off with you dying in different ways.
He has 9
I
lives.
can always come back as a ghost.
Right.
Yep.
I know this
And
is
then you possess Trevor's body and now you're stuck inside
Jesus
him.
Christ.
Oh, I'm
God,
so
no.
sorry, dude.
He would want to kill himself. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
But
All
random question, but on topic. Brian, will you have These Walls Still Talk merch at MSP?
Yes.
So I'm going to have obviously the paperback.
Yes.
So I'll be there signing. So obviously we'll have the paperbacks. And Rob and I, before I say anything that's official and then people can run with, we are in talks about having a Get Haunted, These Walls Still Talk combo
Collab.
piece of merch, collaborated merch, where it represents both the novel and Get Haunted. So
the only reason I ask is because I didn't know if you would do that or just sell what MSP is already selling.
well, the
Both,
MSP
both.
gift shop will be open its normal hours
Oh,
for
gotcha.
for a normal for a hunt, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that's their gift shop. We're not gonna
Okay.
step on their
Gotcha.
toes.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our own merch.
Yeah, this
Sounds
is
good to
why
me.
Trevor's not our merch manager.
It's not that I'm bad with merch. I'm bad with math. If you ask me to do,
The other reason
I needed to count to 4 on my hands at the beginning of this podcast. That tells you anything.
And you had to start over 2 times.
Yes. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
go. You can go. You say goodbye.
I
Is
know
it
that-
okay? I'm gonna go.
Oh,
Yeah,
bye,
bye, Sarah.
We love you, Sarah.
I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
I know the only math that I know is the X and Y axis in Final Cut Pro. That's all I know.
Glow in the dark
Yes.
T-shirts, mugs, swag. Oh,
Is glow okay? A question for Rob, because now
Well,
we brought it up with the books and now this is how much extra is glow in the dark added onto anything? Is that like an extra $10 a thing or?
No, no, it depends, honestly. Like the glow in the dark hoodies I just did.
Yeah.
It added probably $3 or $4 per
Oh,
hoodie.
okay.
It depends on the quantity, right? It really, it truly depends.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
So if I'm doing 100 shirts, it's not bad. If I'm doing 5 shirts, it's bad.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. I think you should pay $30 a hat to make glow in the dark threaded hats. All- the size that I was going for. There we go. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah.
Brian, is there any last words?
yeah.
You got
Again, I'm gonna. So
four.
I always, being the marketing person I am, I'm going to throw out before we leave. Remember the book release party. Tickets are sale now. The right now is the early bird special.
Yep.
The prices will be going up January 1st. I'm
Give me a
saying
second.
this because if you're on the fence and you are waiting, decide if you want to go, they will be going up on January 1st.
Yeah, I gotta go get my ticket.
And
Yeah.
once we had a meeting with Sheila, the prison boss, and we capped it out at 100 tickets. This isn't one of those things where if we sell out, oh, you know what, we're going to release 20 more tickets. Like, no,
Nope.
it's capped at 100. Get your ticket or you don't go. Get your ticket now or you're going to be spending more money. Second thing I want to plug is, again, we have decided to turn this into multiple books. Each book is going to take place at a different location. Each book is going to be standalone, so it's not going to be a part 2. You can read them out of order, but they'll all be a Get Haunted tale. And the second book, location and storyline, and this book's trailer is going to premiere on the Pac-Man Paranormal Show Sunday night at 8 p.m. and it's also my birthday, so I keep threatening Ernie that I'm going to wear my birthday suit for the show.
Oh, he's excited. He let me know. He's like, Brian said he's going to wear his birthday suit. And I was like, that's good. I'll tune in.
So yeah, so I want everyone to watch that. Watch the
Yes.
Pac-Man Paranormal shows for the book 2 info, and the trailer's amazing. I know I keep saying
Yeah,
it, but
It is.
man, I'm so in love with that fucking trailer.
It is.
And please come to the book release party, because it's not just a book release party, and it's not just to Get Haunted overnight ghost hunt. We are doing so many things behind the scenes that will be a surprise when you get there. I want people to show up and be like, oh my God, this is so much worth the money I spent and more. I didn't know they were going to do this too. I want that element of surprise. So don't think what's on that list is all that's going to happen that night. I've got a lot of things that I'm working on that will happen that night.
Yeah,
So.
I definitely need to get my ticket soon, because I've actually never been to MSP. Every time that we've had a chance to go,
Yes.
something
Yeah, you
happened and
couldn't
I
make it.
couldn't make it.
It's a brutal drive, brother, but
Bill,
we'll figure it out.
whenever you come, Bill, I want to do the Delco experiment with you in Death Row and in Dungeon.
We can do the Gansfield goggles. I don't do the
That-
Delco
that-
because
that's
that's
what
a
I mean.
different set of goggles, and I
That's
don't
what
want to get in
mean.
trouble with him again.
I don't know. Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't know.
don't piss mic off.
No,
I
work
don't
on it in
know.
October.
Oh,
we had a little issue that's been settled. We're good now. Not trying to do that again.
okay. For all legal reasons, that was a miscommunication. Whenever you get here, I want to do the Gansfield experiment with you in Death Row and in a dungeon.
Absolutely.
The good thing, Bill, is now you can be part of book 2 as a get
You're gonna
hung.
have to re-say what you just said because you cut out. Sorry about that.
All right, am I back?
Yeah.
Okay, I was
Well-
saying like the cool thing of moving on to book 2 is that now I can have people that I didn't know when I was writing book 1. You know, like you, Bill, right? You weren't in the first book only because I hadn't really gotten to know you and really met you. And
Yeah,
like
we
I said
didn't
earlier
meet
in
till the soiree.
right, and like I said, everybody who's in these Walls Still Talk were people that had something to do with MSP. You know, like had something to do with my experience there. So now that I've met like more people throughout because of this book, I'm already making. I have a Microsoft Word document of people who are going to be characters in the second book that weren't in the first one. So which is kind of cool. Like characters can kind of come in and out. You know, it's
Hell
not going to be the same old troop every single time.
I just had an idea that I'm going to share with you later.
With me?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Hey, call me.
I'll call you.
It's getting after dark. What kind of calls I could?
It is. I know. I got to go walk. I got to go walk my little animal here in a second. Ouija board guitar intro.
You're taking Danny for a walk?
Oh
no!
Oh shit!
God.
Danny, if you're in here, he said it.
He's listening. Well, she might have taken him out because he's not barking.
Yeah,
For
I
once.
haven't heard not Danny. Fuck Bill. Fuck you. I haven't heard Leo bark all. You had
He's
Danny
been barking the whole show.
Yeah, he was barking.
That's what I've been screaming about.
Yeah.
I've muted it. Ouija board guitar intro. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I have a Ouija board guitar. I could go grab it.
Yeah, he does. No,
play the forbidden riff on it.
Which forbidden riff?
Well, there's multiple. There's the introduction to Highway to Hell. There's Unholy Confessions, and then there's that one song, My Journey, that I don't remember.
There's also
Don't
Stairway
Stop
to
Believing.
Heaven, and then there's
Yeah,
there's 3 different horror movies that have a forbidden riff.
I thought that. Oh, okay.
Did you
Play-
just forget Don't Stop Believing?
I don't listen to Journey.
But
Bro,
do you have ears? Like
Yeah.
ever? Because like that song is like one of the most recognizable songs
Oh,
ever.
Trevor's gone. He doesn't.
Trevor's
He
gone.
doesn't listen to
We
Journey.
love
He's
backstage.
gone.
Perfect. All right. Oh wow, he took all that. All right,
this is
enough. You're making me dizzy. All right, fellas. Again, thank you
Amateur
guys.
hour.
I'm gonna run. Brian, thank you. Bill.
Yeah.
Trevor.
Yeah, give me a
Thank
call.
you guys for being on.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
Thank you for having me. Thank you
I'm
for
out.
everyone who tuned in.
Yeah. All right,
Rob,
guys.
Go
Peace.
pet your dog. All right. Thank you all so much for joining on this great adventure. Before I go any further, I'm going to, as I'm doing the outro, I'm going to put up the book cover one last time. If I know how to do that properly. There we go.
Ooh,
Thank
piece
you
of candy.
all. Huh?
It said, "Ooh, piece of candy."
Oh, piece of candy. I will throw that banner up one more time, but give me a second. Okay, so thank you all so much for joining. Thank you all. I usually would go through stream and say off all the names, but a lot of comments don't have that time. So I'm just being honest here. That's a lot of names.
Actually, you know what? If people are still logged on and they had questions that weren't answered, for me specifically, they just Facebook message me or email me. Like I'll answer them.
If you
go watch Pac-Man Paranormal on Sunday, and you can ask your questions there.
Oh yeah, right. Tune in to Pac-Man Paranormal on Sunday, where there's gonna be a whole bunch of more stuff.
You're making me do fucking work. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes.
And the trailer.
Pac-Man Paranormal with Denise and Arnie Pack every Sunday at 8 p.m. EST. Go check them out. They're amazing people. I love them. They've seen the worst of me and they've seen the best of me. They low-key hate me, but also low-key love me, and that's why I love them. Oh shit. He just hit them. But yes, and Brian does not deserve to be blocked by this name thing. So there we go. So so saying that, thank you all so much for joining. Thank you everyone who joined. Please don't forget to check out Brian Paone's website. I assume at brianpaone.com.
That's it. It's myname.com.
Awesome.
Super easy.
Go to extremeticketing.com. That is X, then Treem ticketing.com for I'm misclicking everywhere for the link to These Walls Still Talk book release party. Is going to be a fun time. You get a book release party, signings, talking, chatting. You also get an 8-hour like overnight investigation with Get Haunted themselves. I will be there. Bill will be there. I'm manifesting that shit.
Well, I'm planning on buying my ticket. I just haven't done it yet.
Cool. I think Brian will be there. I think.
Maybe.
Maybe. And then, of course, Rob, Sarah, and whoever else decides to come on over. I'm sure Danny will be there. But either way. So, yeah. His website, extremeticketing.com. It'll be front page, so go there. And also, Brian will be on Pac-Man Paranormal. That was already up, sorry. This Sunday at 8 p.m. EST with Denise and Ernie Pack showing off the book trailer itself. It is awesome. I can't wait for you all to see it. And also, if you have any questions that you did not ask now, if you ask them now and we didn't get to them, or if you think later into the next couple of days, hey, I'm curious about this, come on in, ask them. And maybe Denise won't interrupt him like she interrupts Ernie, but we'll see. but we will see. But we will see. But on that note, thank you so much, Brian, a random stranger, for coming on and joining us. It has been an awesome ride. So yeah.
All right,
and Damien will have some more questions.
He always has more questions.
As he always does.
We love him.
I love questions.
Yes.
Especially from Damien. Yes.
Like whenever we did the episode with Damien, that was the most controlled ADHD podcast that we've ever done. And I loved it. Because we were going from topic to topic, but like other than Bill's buzzer, Damien was on point. So
great.
Other than that, thank you all so much. Brandy caught us at the very end. Oh, Brandy, in case you haven't seen the book cover, give me a second. I've shared like 8 different things. My brain's a fucking blender at this point. Brandy, here is the book cover for These Walls Still Talk. A Get Haunted Tale with me, Rob, Sarah, and amazing cops and workers of MSP in the book. Who's texting me? I'll get to that later. So it was Bill. I wasn't gonna say anything because I'm like, what if it's not Bill? But it's fucking Bill.
Yeah. So, why is your phone not on silent? You're supposed to be professional here.
I took it off when Rob was sending me that picture, and it was on do not disturb. But I wanted to hear it whenever it came through, so I could throw it up. But do not disturb now, bitch. All right. So thank you all. I am Trevor from Haunted Faith and VHF 82 Productions. I make found footage mixed with the paranormal. We also have Bill Bryan of Empty Casket and Paranormal and an Empty Casket Talking Board Museum. I'm not stuttering. I just can't breathe properly.
God, Trevor. You okay?
Dude, doing this outro, I've done this outro 11 times and I still don't manage to fuck it up. And surprisingly not by stuttering.
The only time he hasn't fucked it up was the first one.
Yeah. And then I got too comfortable. Then I'm like, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. Be sure to check out emptycasketparanormal.com. He does creepy things with wires. Be sure to check out Empty Casket Talking Board Museum.com. He teaches about the history, how they're made, what they are, and different mediums you can use to make talking boards. He also teaches you how you shouldn't be afraid of fucking cardboard. It's just fucking cardboard. And also check out me on YouTube. That's my main platform. like I just said, I turn paranormal encounters, experiences, and stories into found footage films. Check that out if you so choose. I'm not your mother. I don't care. It's up to you. And also check out gethaunted.com. As you've seen throughout this whole podcast, I won't talk too much on that, but we do events, networking, merch, community. If you think of it and it's paranormal, we probably do it. And if we don't, give us the idea and we'll give you a shout out and you can be part of it. It'll be a great time. Other than that, I would throw up the Ghost Box Radio, but he is not going to be on tonight. So I will save you all from seeing that. So on that note, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
My job is getting so hectic. I don't know what day it is at this point. Today, I was delivering to a business and I thought it was Tuesday, but that's not the point. So, anyway, Brian, I've never done this with the guest, but you're gonna be the first one, and who knows if you'll be the fucking last. Nope. Give everyone in this community some goodbye peaceful words or a quote that you find inspirational that makes people in the paranormal community want to get out there and just do what they love. What's the best you got? Like Journey said, don't stop believing. God damn it.
That is such a good song.
I also know who did that because I didn't. I knew that. I know the song. I just didn't. The oldest band.
You do know that I'm never letting you know. You do.
Yeah, I know.
Trevor, you do know there's gonna be a part in book 2 now where that song's gonna be playing, and you're gonna be like, "What's this shit?" Right? So
am I gonna be in the second book? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you survived in book 1.
Okay, I didn't know.
You haven't pissed Brian off enough yet to be on of book 2.
Oh, honestly, this is getting more like a personal thing, but fuck it. Let's just keep talking because if you guys are good, are you guys good on time?
I don't care.
I got a couple minutes.
Yeah, okay, cool. For all of you, this is more personal, non-book talk. So, but a question, not question. Shit, I don't. Why I said that. I've hung out with Brian in guest form at the Get Haunted. The Dove was on tour. Like event. One of the most enjoyable people. Very laid back. Obviously, I didn't know who you are, but I really don't care about titles and who people are. If they're a celebrity, I'm gonna treat them as a normal fucking person. I don't get starstruck often,
unless it's Zach Baggins.
Speaking of him, this will tie in.
Oh god!
You remember how I said the last book that I read was a decade ago?
Yeah.
The last book that I read was I Am Haunted by Zach Baggins.
Okay.
But and it was on the beach for a week. I had nothing to do on a private sandy beach for a week. So I went with my dad, and my dad was reading a.
All right, hold on a second. There's noise because someone just opened my garage.
I thought you were about to get fucking.
No. While you deal with the noise, Brandy.
No, that's all right.
The book's not out yet.
Yeah.
The book comes out next year, and we're gonna have the launch party. Was it June 21st?
June 21st.
I will pull up the link. Let me fucking pull up this fucking link for the 85th fucking time.
No.
Well, Brandy was late, so
yeah, I know. I'm fucking Brandy. You know I love you. So yes. I need to go back to the site. I can't see the screen on screen shit. So June 21st. It is a Saturday next year. These Walks Still Talk. Missouri State Penitentiary book release party / signing /
haunted tale.
A Get Haunted tale overnight ghost hunt as well. You'll be able to get your book signed by this Brian guy, and it'll be a great time.
I think if Brandy is just kind of coming in now, when this whole podcast goes up for rewatch, I think it just needs to watch the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
we had a lot of fun, and there's a ton of information.
It goes up for rewatch the second that it ends. So
all right, cool.
It gets uploaded as it goes live. So
okay,
yeah, but yeah, so then once after the book release party, I'm assuming you get it on Walmart, Amazon, all the places you go.
Yep. So all my books, including this one, are available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook in every bookstore in America, the UK, Australia, Canada, Germany, and then a couple other like Italian bookstores. I
So
know that, like,
so someone out there in the world's gonna go, "Oi, mate, these walls still talk."
pretty much.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
go.
My publishing company, the
Wow.
distributor,
Way to
is
Way to
everywhere.
go,
so-
Trevor, and insulting people outside of our own country.
Hey, I love Steve Irwin. I love.
But did
like-
you wait a minute? Did you stutter in your accent, or did you do it okay?
No, I did it fine.
See, maybe you should just always talk in an Australian accent. Then you won't stutter.
Oi, mate, this is the book. These walls still talk.
See, that's your new voice. Done.
Is that cultural appropriation? I don't fucking know.
Don't stop
No.
believing, Trevor. Don't stop believing.
No. Oh, by the way, a
You-
little.
you could identify as an Australian.
If I had to identify as anyone, it had to be like Australian or Scottish. I'm part Irish too, so that makes sense. But a little.
Yeah, but you can't identify as Scottish because Damien doesn't want you.
Or does he? Damien, please tell me you want me.
Don't do
Until
it,
then.
Damien.
Until then. So a little side note about like the insides of how my stuttering works. And how I actually got over it. I got made fun of for years because of this. But if I'm singing any song, like just singing, if I follow a rhythm, I don't stutter ever. So whenever I was in 6th grade, halfway through middle school, my dad's like, slow down, slow down. My dad has had a horrible speech impediment too, and he forced himself to slow down. But I was getting verbally, physically, and mentally assaulted for 15 years. That's where this happened. That I just was scared to slow down. So my mom bought me some headphones and just goes, just listen to music in the hallways and sing, just ignore everyone. Not knowing that I was like lightly singing everything like in the hallway, like Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold, right? One of my favorite songs. I would just be down the hallways just going, you should know the pride. Like just singing it very low. No one heard me. Over the course of 4 years, doing that took away my stutter for the most part. Every now and then, if I'm excited, extremely nervous, which I haven't been nervous in a hot minute, or what used to be on heavy caffeine, Bill knows, everyone here knows, I was started like a motherfucker. But, and also I can force it too. I know how to force it, but that's only if I'm testing the waters with someone that I don't know, but that's not the point. But yeah, singing actually took away my stutter. I can't hit a note to save my life, but yeah. What language or accent is your inner voice? I use Morgan I have ADHD. I have like 80 inner voices going at once.
Mine's
So
Betty White.
is that the girl who makes the muffins and then the baker?
Betty White. She's on the Golden Girls.
Yeah, come on, Trevor.
Wait, give me a second.
He's
Betty
got to
White.
Google the Golden Girls.
No,
Oh, Jesus.
I know who Betty White is. I'm googling something else.
Yeah, sure you are. We all say that.
Uh-huh.
I will show you my phone. Martha Muffins.
Journey.
That's not
Don't
her name.
Stop believing.
Yeah, Martha White. I grew up on these. I had these every weekend, and I still make them to this day. They're a comfort meal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not
Martha
Betty
White.
White, but yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I heard White, and I thought yeah. I know who the Golden Girls are. I know what Everyone Loves Raymond is. I'm like 37 in the head when I'm 27. I grew up on not AOL. What the fuck's the internet called? The you got to get it off the phone to get online, and the original shit. Dial up. Thank you. I grew up on dial up, analog TV, cassettes, VHSs. Yeah, I witnessed Y2K. Like, I grew up at like the first 5 years of my life was like I grew up in the perfect era to where that's how I like associate like my day-to-day life. Like, just to give you a really quick glimpse in like how I hate having like friends in the area. A lot of my friends that I have now are like 25 and above, but their friends are like people who go to clubs and stuff, and they're like in their lower 20s, and they're like saying terms I didn't know fucking existed, and I'm like, are you talking or giving me Call of Duty shout outs? Like, what the fuck's happening right now? Like, it's just weird. I don't understand slang term. Why can't you just talk like the rest of us? Fuck. I'm done. That's my TED talk.
Faith.
You cut out there for a second. You got to re-say that.
I said Words of Wisdom by Trevor Faith.
Yeah, like
That's going to be the shortest book ever.
yeah. Hell, one thing that pisses me off. One of the words that the kids say is mid, MID, right? And in general, mid means like midweek, midday, midway through something. I'm midway through a trip. Like it's a word, right? But like when describing something that's like average or like not really worth doing, or like that said thing is okay or average, it's now mid. Well, that
Right,
was
it's medium.
mid.
Well, it's medium. Medium excitement.
Yeah, but medium, it's average, it's medium. But whenever a younger person says it in a younger accent, it makes me want to punch a fat kid in Kmart.
What if they say it in an Australian accent?
I'll let him slide.
Okay. Well, I do have like I do have to go in like 4 minutes.
All right, okay. Then if that's the case, if you enjoyed this 10-minute after dark segment, whatever the fuck that was. Wait, before we go, did you just admit that you don't know the national? I know who Betty White is. I know. I heard White.
Don't
and then
believe
I
him,
went.
Chris.
I watched the Golden Girls when I was a kid with my grandma in the summer. I just heard White, and my mind went to Martha White, the muffins that I've had since I was a kid. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this round 2 of the podcast. and I will talk to you all later. And one last thing, please don't forget to tune into Pac-Man Paranormal at 8 p.m. EST this Sunday for the book release trailer. And
Sorry about the garage door again.
the book release trailer. And if you have any more questions, let Brian know then. Hope you all have a great night. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later. And don't
Sleep
don't,
safe. You
Well,
almost forgot again.
Hey here. If you're ever wondering what lurks underneath the bed,
It's true.
or looking through the keyhole to your closet, don't forget that you can't stop it. You never will be able to stop it. So all you can really do is lay back, look at it dead in the face, and just hope you can sleep safe.